It is live. All right, showtime, people. Here we go. So far, 0 people here.
Well, you live for the dream.
Yeah, it's Christmas week this week.
Yeah,
crypto is crashing. I'm not looking at it again until after New Year's.
Yeah, I can't even look.
Don't look. It'll come back. Just gotta wait a week. It's just
one day I go yay, and then I look the other day and I go boo, and then I go yay.
It happens every election cycle. January, February. It even happened 4 years ago. It went parabolic, like right after New Year's. So that's probably.
I don't know if this happens to you as a business owner, but this has happened to me in the last 2 elections where, like, in October, people just kind of like disappear on you. And then as soon as they know who won the election, they start calling you again. It's like, it doesn't really matter who wins. You still got to do business.
Right. People getting out of it. They got out of their minds with this one.
Mm-hmm.
And you know who I defer to? I defer to him for all my advice. And he said, just wait. See the third eye in the middle?
Mm-hmm. Just wait.
Yeah, that's the superpower. All right. Let's talk cyber.
Yeah, cyber. We missed a couple of weeks. I guess it's been a busy cyber for everyone.
Yeah. It was quiet for a day or two.
What's that?
Today we had a little something.
Yeah.
Last week we had a little something.
Yeah, today was one of those, what do we call, business email compromise. Somebody's credentials got exposed and they created an email rule to send all their new messages to archive. And they were doing that in preparation so that when they do send out a bunch of spam messages, the person whose email account they got hacked won't see all the replies and the bounce messages and everything. So really, we stopped them in the planning phase, which is always good because they didn't get time to send out any messages.
Is it similar to the one that we had? What was it, last Wednesday or Thursday? The other client we have up in Jersey. Remember that somebody there clicked an email. You ended up doing a whole scheme with their whole tenant.
Yeah, that person though, I believe when they clicked the email, they alerted their people right away that, hey, I think I clicked a spam link and changed the password instantly. This one was about 7-ish minutes before we started working on it because there's a small time delay because Microsoft doesn't real time send you logs.
Right.
But within 12 minutes, we had it contained.
It's funny. The other one we were talking about from last week, it's the same company I was talking with you about 3 weeks ago. They still haven't signed on. They have no cyber tools in place. There's nothing for detection. They have nothing.
And I actually went back and looked, and I think that they have paid out more in the last 3 years in breach response than they would have paid for having tools in place. I think I didn't realize that. I think we've done 3 or 4 with that particular client now. So
that's really interesting. And in this case, had they had that in place, we would have known. We've known if the guy clicked. I'm not sure if we would have known or not. Depending, I'm not sure what they actually did. But he might if they had our tools in place that teach them not to click on these things, they would have potentially not clicked on it, which is even more preventative.
Right.
So Matt, we have we didn't do last week, but we had something ready for last week, which was really interesting, and we're going to start with it this week.
Yeah, we're going to talk about basically, with 2024 ending, 2025 coming up, statistics and, where we think, cyber crime and stuff is going next year, and a few things like that. We've got 9 or 10 little headlines here.
Yeah, here's the first one. It's on the bottom of the screen. $9 trillion in damages worldwide this year in 24.
Right.
And I don't know that we have the projection for next year, but it's going to be higher.
Yeah, next year is a little over 11, I believe. But first of all, I don't think people really understand what $9 trillion actually is. $9 trillion is a lot of money. It's a third of what the U.S. debt is at the moment.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of money. And if you break it down to your own business, you and I talk about it every week. Mm-hmm. Hold on, I got to get my this one right here. That's the one right there. You're going to have a breach. So, do you want to be one of those statistics? I mean, most people now are doing something. Right. This case study of this client that we keep talking about that just won't put things in place. Mm-hmm. I guess don't be the exception, because they're the exception now. It's these holdouts. These small business owners are holdouts.
I'm really surprised because most people are doing something because their insurance companies are requiring it.
There's those too. And they think that they're compliant. Like they have an answer for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's tough because the guy who owns the company is one of my closest friends. So, and then they had this breach last week, and he calls me up and he's texting me. I mean, he's like, it's almost like you guys planned this because we haven't approved your proposal yet. I'm like, we didn't plan it, but timing couldn't have been any better.
Right.
Yeah. So 9 trillion. Let's go to the next one. Average cost of a data breach.
4.8 million. Now, when you talk about that number, you're talking large companies, Fortune 500, how much it costs to remediate them. But if you extrapolate that down, you're still, what do we see in the last couple of months? 160,000, 80,000, 100, 250,000. So I mean, even as a small business, your cost.
Those are small businesses, but you got the bigger businesses that are in the 9-figure, maybe you're $100 million business or bigger than that. And you're going to be looking at $500,000 to $1 million probably.
I mean, we saw the one over the summer where technically, they wasn't ransomware, but they stole $1 million out of someone's bank account. Just
like that one. Yeah.
That's $1 million. And if they wouldn't have gotten that back,
that's
$1 million gone.
Next one is we see this every day. So ransomware remains a significant threat. 27% of breaches involving the attacker disclosing the breach as part of a ransomware.
I don't see this going down at all. I see this, going much higher next year.
For sure.
The only way it might go down is some of the hacker groups have decided they're no longer going to ransom. They're just going to steal your information. So they'll just steal it and put it out on the web if you don't pay them. So one way or another. But ransomware is still going to be the number one thing that we're defending against.
100%. And I don't know, I don't recall if we had AI in here, but it's really becoming difficult to detect for the human beings to identify those emails. I mean, they're so good.
It used to be the emails you would get, especially for a business email compromise, would be misspelled. They'd have all kinds of weird things in them. You could almost pick them out instantly. But I've seen some in the last couple of months that have been really, really good that you almost, if you weren't paying attention, could easily fill out some information.
Yeah. Check this one out. So in the first half of 24, 35.9 billion records were compromised across 9,500 publicly disclosed incidents.
And people should remember that's the actual disclosed incidents. Not every state or every country has, disclosure. So
right. This client that you and I work on all the time in New York City, that one of the largest nonprofits in the state, the FBI came to their office for the second time last week. I'm not sure I told you this.
No, you didn't tell me that.
You were on the call with the first one after we talked, but they came again. And they have another 120 email addresses that they actually in person had to come and say, these all showed up in a compromise or in a
interesting.
Yeah, I guess it was they were compromised. So we took a few of them and we went on that website that you can use to go see if you're on the dark web. And one of the email addresses alone was there 7 times and 7 different breaches.
Was it one of your client's email addresses?
They happen to use the client email address, but that just means that address was out there from some. It could have been their payroll company. It could have been anybody.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't have a breach, but their information was pulled out of a breach somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, data breaches, if you look at, like the ODP one from a bunch of years ago for all the defense personnel, medical records, ADP, everybody's getting breached nowadays. So every time I open a new news thing, it's another, breach.
All right, next one. This is like the year in review. I love it. The healthcare sector has been notably affected with breaches like the Change Healthcare incident compromising medical data on a substantial portion of the U.S. population. Oh, the end's missing. Population. It's good to know. We do a lot of healthcare people. We have healthcare clients. It's funny. We have the one that you and I work on that has 6 locations in New York.
Right.
And he sent me an email this morning, the IT director there, saying that they're going to hold off on any further cybersecurity investment. They'll revisit it next year. Because even though HIPAA compliance is a thing, it's not mandatory. It's more of a strong recommendation, which I don't know where the gray area starts and stops there.
I'm surprised it's not a mandatory for them, but interesting.
I think it's just his perspective. I think he went on ChatGPT and sent me something because I read it and I'm like, he doesn't even write like this. It was so well written and so well argued.
Yeah, I mean, medical data, if you look at the pricing of how much people can sell data for, medical data is still one of the highest. Between that and credit card data, you still get threat actors get a lot of money for your healthcare information.
Yeah. This one is interesting. Cyber detection. Organizations take an average of 194 days to identify a breach, indicating significant delay in detecting unauthorized access. That's crazy.
To say that we're actually into our average is less than 2 days at the moment.
Yeah.
But 194 days on average at some of those larger breaches that have been coming up.
That's just unbelievable. And we can only guess, but in those cases, like whoever those organizations are, somebody's making some poor decisions there. Because for that, is that like a half a year?
Yeah, that's a half a year. That means there's no logging review. There's no policies for monitoring your cyber. There's no training for email.
Right.
There's nothing, because in 194 days you should see something that tells you. For instance, I mean, the one at the golf course, the one that we were working on, as it got ransom. We were working on it. It was within a day, but it was like you should see something.
Right. 100%. They still haven't signed off on the rest of the stuff either. It amazes me. Even after breaches, these people are not signing off on things. It's like,
even after $200,000+ remediation work. And
so this is small businesses. It's like half of all cyber breaches target companies with less than 1,000 employees. So small businesses, we're not going to be a target. It's not true. Small and medium-sized businesses are at risk. And I got to go back to this one. I love this one. Hold on. Right here.
Yeah, nobody's too small.
It doesn't matter how small of a firm you're. I have a client that's signing on next week. It's just him.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for us. It's just one user. So I'm like, we'll take it.
We had the one user firm that with the tax records are 1 or 2 users. I mean, it's small.
But this gentleman who's the one person firm, we include all the cyber tools, and he's in the finance industry, and he's like, oh wow, this is such a good value, because I think we're charging him $135 a month. That includes all the IT support. It includes all the patching and everything, but also includes all the cyber tools.
Right.
And he was like, wow, like I feel so basically he felt protected. He felt like we were really on top of it. And even for a one-person firm, he understood it, but yet you have bigger firms who don't get it. It just doesn't, it makes no sense. That's why we do this. We're doing this.
I'm talking to a 600-person healthcare center right now that I just can't get to bite on anything. And they've been breached 3 times in the last 2 years.
It's funny because they're not in New Jersey, are they?
No, they're here in Maryland.
Oh, good. Because we're talking to one in New Jersey who's huge. They have, actually, you're working on it right now. We're putting together the scope of work. Mark was talking to you today about it. Yep. Yeah, they're going to need all the cyber tools.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they have much of anything. We'll find out.
Right.
Let's see. Okay, so the human element. So I don't even believe this number is accurate. I think it's higher. Human error contributes to 88% of cyber breaches, highlighting the critical need for employee training. It depends where you get the numbers from, because the Verizon report that comes out every year, which this year it said it was 95 or 96%. So you're still in the ballpark, 88, 95. It's basically 90% of all the breaches happen because of a person. That's like almost every single one. So to not train your people on how to identify the risks is you're asking to have to go back to this. Hold on. You're asking for this. You're asking to be in this number. Right?
And we know the training. I mean, we made not we, but the people who we get training from and other things have made the training really easy. It's informative. The phishing tests are, there to serve a purpose.
And it's not a one-time thing. Like how many times I present no before to people and they're like, oh no, we can we just do like a quarterly thing? Like you just do a training? Like, no. You can't do that. It's the repetitiveness of breaking people's bad habits of trusting people they shouldn't trust.
Yep. And
you can't stop. I have people like, we've been doing it for 6 months. The reports are showing nothing. I'm like, yes, that's good.
Yeah.
Let's turn it off. No, don't turn it off. Take it up a notch and make it even harder.
Yeah. We were working with someone, they have a user that has failed no before training 9 times in a row.
Uh-huh.
And they can't do anything with the user because they're a big wig in the company. But for 9 straight times in a row, they put in their MS365 credentials into a no before portal.
Unbelievable. Email as a way in. Email remains the most common vector for malware, with around 35% of malware delivered via email in 23, which basically is about the importance of securing email communications.
Yeah, I get Incident response, I don't know, 7 out of 10 times we find the resolution down to someone clicked on something on it and either downloaded email or put their credentials into something.
Yep.
Almost every time.
Here's the last one. Okay, cyber insurance. In response to the growing threat landscape, cyber insurance premiums in the U.S. surged by 50% in 22, right? And reaching 7.2 billion. I don't know that we have the numbers for 23. I don't have to see them
They're
here.
not out yet. They won't be out probably till in a little bit. But cyber is getting expensive. I know a couple of people I've talked to, their policies have gone up 30%, 40% this year.
Oh yeah. I'm afraid to see ours. We just had to go renew ours, and we're still waiting to hear what they're going to charge us. It's just going up for no reason.
And some interesting things like, all those things that they're asking you to say, yes, I have. If you get breached, now they're going to ask you to reaffirm that you still had them in place. And if you can't reaffirm you had them in place, they might not or not pay your claim. So not only do you have to get it when you get the insurance policy, but you need to keep it in place.
I think this was really good timing wise, because we're going into a new year, so it's sort of like the end of year top list of information that's useful to people. One thing for anybody that watches this at some point, Matt and I came up with a free risk assessment a while ago. This is really valuable, so take that link down, and you can just go there and fill it in. It's going to give you your results. It's going to tell you exactly what to do in areas that you have weaknesses, and if you feel like you would like to speak with us, there's our information. We live this every day. Every single day there's a cyber conversation one way or the other.
Yep.
And based on everything that we just went over, this stuff is a must. It's not even an option. It's if you're in business, unless you want to go out of business, you've got to have these conversations and make sure that you're working with people that you trust. And even if you have people on staff, it's not a bad idea to look outside, get a third-party consultant to come in and give you advice.
Definitely.
We should also talk about this one more time. It does come down to your choices. And if you believe this isn't going to happen to you, you're making a choice to sort of pretend. It's a totally false belief, and that's the truth. It is going to happen. Your company will have a breach. It's just a matter of when. Not even a matter of how. It's just a matter of when. Not even a matter of if. You're going to have a breach. So I think you should take this seriously and really think about it. And somebody in your company should be taking ownership of really focusing on security, and not just one point in time. It's all the time.
Right. Yeah. Security's got to be not only just what you do, it's a mindset. You have to have that mindset of, we're secure, we got to be secure. And when you make decisions, you have to base them around, is it securing our company or not? Or is this decision going to, release information that we don't want released?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. There's nothing worse than all your company records out there on the dark web. They will find them.
Is this our last one? Oh, no, actually, no, there's one more.
Actually,
I'm going to come up with a top 10 list for the next one.
Yeah, I'll come up with something catchy for the next one.
That's next Monday.
Things to prepare for 2025.
Are we doing this next Monday? Next Monday, same time. We're back on track.
Yeah, I think next year is the year of AI efficiency when it comes to cybersecurity and attacks and threat actors. Yep. So,
what is this? All right. Well, on that note, that was quick to the point. Delivered some value.
Yep.
Throw this back up there. Anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good for the year. Well, until next week. But
I'm good for next year. All right, my man.
All right. Thank you.
Talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye-bye.